Hey everyone, this is a video for ICT 355-555, a Module 1 overview. So just to recap what was in Module 1, we had you read Chapter 1, do a quiz and discussions, we had some Salesforce trailheads, and we also started our initial setup and creation of your groups. So just some thoughts from me on the Chapter 1 review. When I first got my textbook as an instructor, I'm always skeptical on what comes out in the textbook readings. And this is one of the textbooks that I have read literally from front to back because I think it really covers essentially what anyone that wants to get into or even needs knowledge of systems analysis and design and the software development lifecycle. I think it covers all of the aspects really well. This first chapter really gives you an introduction to what systems analysis is. It talks about the different phases of the software development lifecycle: systems planning, systems analysis, systems design, systems implementation, and systems support and security. All of these are going to be really key to your group project that we're having you do alongside of the textbook readings. They fit very well together. I did read through the discussion boards, and some of the themes that were out on the discussion board, which I thought were great, were, why do I want to learn this? Regardless if you're on the business side or the IT side, when an enhancement is needed to a system, it takes time. It's not something usually that you can flip a switch. I actually have a recent example to share with you about why you would want to learn this. I'm working with a group of board members and I'm facilitating a board workshop. And they want to look at their strategic plans that they put together for last year, and they want to put new ones together for this year. One of the questions that have come up and concerns is, from the strategic goals that they set last year, there was a huge delay in some of their strategic plans and implementing those goals because they were around technology. When they were talking through it with the board members, and if you think of a board, they have people that know nothing about technology all the way to people that know a lot about technology. And some of the board members were wondering, why hasn't any progress been made on this? We set this goal last year, and we were expecting to see it tomorrow. They wanted to turn something on that should have been something very easy in their minds, because like when you have a smartphone, it's easy to go to the Play Store and just click and download an app. And that was actually really eye-opening for me too, being in the software development lifecycle for as long as I have, that sometimes I have to remember that's how your business area thinks. For those that don't live and breathe in the software development lifecycle, they often think that, well, why can't you just turn that on in the system? And there's reasons for going through the software development lifecycle planning. There could be other higher priorities, which trump not being able to do their enhancement, doing the analysis and design, going through requirements, making sure that they all work together and the systems work together. There's processes to implementing a system. It's not just a flip of a switch or a download of an app. And then one of the most important is your support, and who's going to support that enhancement, and what's the security around that. Many businesses and companies are drowning in regulations and security and making sure that data is secure and no data breaches are happening. So oftentimes people think, well, why can't we just turn that on in the system? And what this chapter is really giving you is really kind of an elevator pitch, being in the software development lifecycle, or if you want to be a systems analyst in some way, shape, or form, you kind of have that elevator speech about what an enhancement to a system actually has to go through in order to get implemented in the system. It is not as easy as flipping a switch. I also had thoughts while I was reading through this chapter that this might be a chapter that I may actually pass along to my business users, just so they can give a flavor of what happens when they submit an enhancement to a system, or they want a new system implemented, or they want a new app or anything done in the system, that there is a process that has to be followed to ensure that we have system security, we have the right processes in place, we have the right design going on. Lots of things go into a software development lifecycle, whether it's an actual big system implementation or if it's an enhancement to the system. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of why you would want to learn this. A couple other things that I want to point out from Chapter 1. Broad overview of the essential components of an information system. So again, being able to speak to this with your business area, it's not just the software. It's the hardware, it's the data, it's all the processes that go in place, and it's the people and the users or the end customers or the other businesses that you're working with. There are a lot of components that have to be taken into consideration when pulling together an information system. when it is a business information system, it typically can be identified as one of the ones that are listed here, but there is a lot of overlap between them. Your knowledge management system may work with your business support system because your business users, while they're supporting the customers, they want to be able to access knowledge management. Or you, as a manager, want to track your user productivity in those business support. So there's a lot of overlap between them. Chapter 1 also covered the importance of modeling the business, so actually knowing what the business is when you get into system design and analysis, as well as prototyping, being able to really kind of map out what you need the system to do, what the system should do, how it should look, and getting that in front of your business users and your IT developers really helps bridge that gap and develop something that is going to meet the needs of the business. It also introduced you to the system development methods. These aren't all of them, but waterfall and agile are two of the different techniques that are utilized. Waterfall is typically your phases. You're typically doing system planning, and then you're doing systems analysis, you're doing the design, your system implementation, and then system support and security. Whereas in Agile, you may be doing planning, analysis, and design and implementing in more of an iterative approach. We'll learn more about Agile when we get to the group project. It also described all of the different roles that are in an IT department, and these are not all that are here. What you'll see in the industry is there's several different titles that are out there, but most of them can be tied back to one or several of these. There are many different roles and opportunities to play within an IT department. I have the systems analyst one highlighted because essentially your group is going to be doing a lot of systems analysis and acting as a systems analyst within this project. I can say that I can probably sum up my last 17 plus years in the software development lifecycle as a systems analyst. I've done a lot of things. I've been in quality assurance where I've been testing the systems. I've done user acceptance testing. So from a user's perspective, does the system match what is needed by the business? I've done business requirements. I've done prototyping, process modeling. I've written rules and developed things for the system. I've helped implement. I've helped create release notes. I've communicated a lot. But mainly, I've been the person between the business and the IT team because I really enjoy that tie, that bringing together the two teams in order to create a system or an enhancement for the system. I also like to assist in creating IT systems that truly meet a business needs and the business requirements that they need for the system. Really, if you're going to be a systems analyst, it really does include technical knowledge. So knowing about information systems, knowing about software and tools that are out there, knowing about design development rules that are created, really having a great communication style and a skill that is definitely important to bridge that gap between the business and the IT teams. Having business skills, being able to go out and know what their business is all about, and then critical thinking skills as well. The business may come to you with a problem, and IT doesn't know how to solve it. You're going to be the one that's in there really delving into those details to figure out how we can make the system work to meet the business needs and requirement. Because honestly, an IT system that doesn't meet a business need is not a system that's needed. So I really thought that Chapter 1 really brought things together in a very high level picture to get you started, especially in the group project. I think it really sums up the software development lifecycle, some of the agile methodologies that we're going to be asking you to do, and some of the roles that we're going to be asking you to do as well, and some of the techniques that you may want to choose to implement with your group project. And just to kind of leave Chapter 1, because I actually thought this was great, I highlighted this in my book. There's 5 key trends really in the information technology realm right now. Agile methodology is hot and heavy. Agile methods have really picked up in the industry. A lot of people are trying to adapt pure agile methods. Very hard to do, but there's a lot of agile techniques that can be utilized within software development lifecycle. So I think that this area will continue to grow as a trend in IT. Same with cloud computing. Mobile devices, everybody wants to be able to do all of their work on a mobile device, even if it's a CRM system. Service orientation, and also social media networks. So that was just kind of the key points that I really thought that Chapter 1 covered. Your SharePoint is yours. It's your group, so be creative. I have added a page called Cammie's Feedback at the top hand of the left-hand navigation of your SharePoint sites. Please keep that on the top. This is where I'm going to be providing your groups with feedback on your group project. I will typically post a video to there. So anytime that you have an interval due, that is where your feedback will be posted. Also, your group contract should be complete and posted on your SharePoint site as well. If it is not, please get that out there. You've also been asked to create a Skype for Business control center, so this should also be in the left-hand navigation for me to easily access because I'll be looking for your Skype meetings. Each group is required to meet at least 2 times via Skype for Business for each module through a video conference. Please make sure you're submitting evidence that shows me all the group members participated in at least one conference, preferably both if possible, but I do know that life happens and things come up. And then making sure that you have meeting minutes and who attended. Great example is a screenshot of the Skype that I can see all of the people that are there, and then your meeting minutes that go with that. Then we get into Module 2, what to expect. So you will be asked to read Chapter 2, Analyzing the Business Case. This is definitely going to set you up nicely for your group project. You will also be asked to do discussions, as well as the CRM Salesforce trailheads. And then your group project, this is where we're going to start with our Interval 1, making sure you are reviewing the course materials for Interval 1 for the group project, making sure that you have your group Skypes, at least 2 for this module. And if any of the groups do get done early, please feel free to submit them early to me. If you want to get early feedback, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that. Just a couple of reminders and policy for this course. I realize that life gets busy, but please do not wait until the last day of the module to start your work. I want to be able to assist you as much as possible, and I can't always guarantee that I'm going to be available on the last day of every module. So if questions are submitted to me on the last day of the module, they are most likely not going to be answered the same day, and your assignment may be marked late because of that. So please make sure that you're starting each of the assignments early in the modules so that if you do run into issues or you do run into questions, there's plenty of time for us to work through